Chapter 15. Binah, the Ocean of Intuition. I kept the blindfold up over my eyes while I waited along the edge of the water, when I decided it was best for my truest sight to hide. If the eye of Ra behind my gaze was that powerful, then how could I trust an energy so intense? All that was left in me was the feeling of dejection mixed with unresolved suspense. Then a sound emerged. I heard a person walking over crisp leaves when I'd wondered if she'd come back here. "My love, where did you go?"
Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Sam Gate Bodhi Svaha,
a voice whispered. This did not sound like my beloved, and so I raised the swords at equal height. With one across the body to the left, I held the other across to the right. What now?
Gone, gone, gone beyond to the far shore. Hail the awakening of the dawn,
she said. I don't understand. Have you seen a young empress around here?
I do know of many empresses. Oh, why, yes, I've come to meet quite a few, and I've also watched how quickly they vanish. All these young girls are so foolish when a real man enters their view, she said.
Then you must know her. She had eyes like the depths of the ocean's whole. Together we found heaven in each other, and our union was the most perfect match of any two souls.
But I am that great ocean. I am that matriarch of all that is ever made. Sitting atop the pillar of severity, I unite the Great Father's wisdom and translate it into understanding so that the truth can be conveyed, she said.
Have you seen her, though? I seek the empress who resided right here. We spent many consecutive nights together before she disappeared.
Whatever you are seeking is also seeking you. But if she disappeared and ran, then why does a handsome man like you stay so true? If she left you here alone, then there must be a reason it fell apart. If this union was as pure as you say, then why did she leave you behind aching with a broken heart?
She said. I could not see this woman with the blindfold over my eyes, but I felt her aura and vibe. Her voice captivated my mind with a certain mystery, and this intrigue seemed impossible to describe. My lover was wounded. I was only trying to give her soul aid. That's when I pulled these two swords out from her back, which is the reason she didn't stay. Her suffering was so immense, and now I wonder if I added to the harm. If only I had one more chance to hold her, then I'd never let her out of my arms. The woman laughed and cheered. I even heard her dance with delight, and so I kept the sun in my head hidden from this mysterious woman's eyes.
Another man saving himself for a lost lover. Oh, why not open up and take a peek? Did I mention I'm an ancient queen of the underworld, and the love in my eyes is so uncommon that the king calls me his antique? You'll never meet another woman like me. This I swear. I even have magical powers, which makes union with me the most powerful and rare,
she said. Magical? Is that what I heard? If I didn't have the two swords in my hand, then I might lift this blindfold up over my head. Then I heard the ocean splash, and so I thought of my lover's eyes. My mind ran wild for the missing empress when a whirlwind of thoughts spun like a wheel as old memories of her started to fantasize. What magic do you speak of? Tell me it's not something terrible like hexes or wicked spells. I mean no harm with these swords, as I have the Ankh in my heart, which ensures my intentions mean well.
Anything you can imagine is anything I can do. I am both the dark and light queen, and ever since you arrived, I had my eyes on you. Now tell me what you're after. What are you really here to do? I too noticed the Father planted the sun in your head, while the Ankh has been embedded in the center of you. There is so much potential you can realize, so many more empresses in my great sea. And did I mention that I'm an enchantress? And so I can grant you any wish as long as you pay the proper fee,
she said. You'll grant me a wish? But what do you require as payment for this toll? And do you know of this particular empress I speak of? As I'll do anything to set my sight back upon her soul.
You say you're willing to do anything, yet you wish to hear what this magic will cost. My fee requires a journey, and almost every soul who has ever embarked on this path ends up dead, destroyed, or lost. Are you willing to dive in this deep? Know that only the purest intention can reveal the true way. This is the path of no path, and so you must learn to be fearless and brave. This journey requires a sacred warrior, one who will rise up to cut away the delusions of his inner foes. In the end, it doesn't matter what you've done to complete this path, but rather all that matters is how the soul grows,
she said. And where should I start? How will I find the way? I'll do anything to feel that connection with my beloved again. I'll kill whatever demons must be slayed.
First, you must tell me what you wish. Then I'll do the rest. The journey begins once I bring you to the empty room, and from there, you'll have to fulfill our soul's hidden quests,
she said. And so I took some extra time to ponder, since I needed to gather up the correct thoughts. If this queen channeled magic, then this was an opportunity that could not be lost. But what was my secret desire? And was I here to reunite with that empress who I called my lover? Or had I been brought here for a different reason? What was my truest purpose that I was meant to discover? The more I wondered, the more I realized I could not be selfish to wish only for me. If I truly loved the empress unconditionally, then my love for her should allow her spirit to be totally free. And so I spoke. I cannot wish to claim the empress without her consent, but is there a way in which her pains and wounds can be mended and healed? I saw how powerful her spirit is, and so I'm aware that the soul's potential must not be concealed.
But what is your wish? What is it that you're asking me for? Is it gold or fame that you want? Tell me what you wish, and I'll see that you get even more,
she said. Moments like these must not be scripted, and so the answer I found came from the intuition of my heart. I was unaware of the journey she spoke of, and I hadn't a clue about this empty room or where I'd start. But there was a feeling deep within, and it felt like this calling is what I must go through. The intuition was certain of what I must wish for, because it was the only thing that felt pure and true. I have no interest in money or fame. The material world is not what it seems, but there is one thing I will wish for. I paused before I told her. Give us our dream.
Many wishes I have granted, but never one quite like this. You have evolved beyond your individual ego, and so this journey will lead you to our beloved's bliss. Almost all dreams include the word I, and yet you asked for our dream. Someday you'll be a king, but first you'll need a queen.
She paused for a moment when I realized she'd come much closer.
Then is it you who are my sacred warrior? And so I wonder if it is true love after all. Did I mention that this is the pillar of severity, as I've been looking for the one who will carry my lightning so that the tower of greed will fall,
she said. For the first time, I felt her fingers wrap around my chin. Still, I had yet to see this mysterious woman.
And so your journey begins. Now I should also mention about the space I rule, how I am the queen who resides over the ocean of both life and death. I have existed since the very beginning, and I have heard every soul whisper their final breath. As the Father sits atop the pillar of wisdom to the right, he represents the energy of Pingala, while I sit atop the pillar of understanding to the left. I am the opposite energy of Ida that flows throughout the entire Kabbalah. Now before you depart, I'll need to take those swords. And did I mention how I brought a third blade of my own? Why, I've held it all this time, since I am the Queen of Swords, and this is my throne,
she said, releasing the two swords into her hands. I was curious how she'd taken both of them at the same time, especially if she just stated she held a third sword. Now I had to check to see who she was, because what if I made a mistake and this woman was connected to the one I adored? Peeling the blindfold up over my eyes, I looked back behind me when I watched 3 swords begin to rise. This woman had at least 8 arms, and her skin was both see-through and blackish blue. I took one peek at her eyes when I felt the 3 swords pierce right on through. She stabbed me with all 3 at once. 3 blades pierced into my heart. Then my body dropped in front of her feet when my entire life fell apart. Everything went wrong. Oh, why would I even dare? This was not just heartbreak for a lost lover. It was the heaviest cross to bear. She dragged me toward the ocean when I looked up at her with the sun in my eyes. This dark queen had tricked me, and now she tossed me into the ocean, where my soul began to sink